Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Good morning, everybody. All right, I want to talk Klay Thompson a little bit, even though I have not watched any of these games. I'm listening to the chatter, and I just want to respond more so to that than anything that's going on the court. Listen, Klay Thompson is working his way back from an injury that's been keeping him away from the game for over 2 years. Injuries that have, taken him a long time, obviously, and not only that, but has weakened him severely in his lower body. And he's a shooter. Shooters need their legs. Shooters need their defenders need their legs. So until he gets his legs back, which could take some time, if not forever, no telling how bad the regression actually is, since he's a little older now too. You guys are gonna have to give him some time to get back in shape. And the problem also with Klay Thompson is that his functionality is to shoot and defend. So if the shot ain't falling and he's not quick enough to keep up with players, he really is somebody who should be, given an opportunity to slowly come back into the situation, especially since your team is deep. The Golden State Warriors are a very deep team. You got Jordan Poole, who should definitely be starting right now and getting all the minutes in the world. Klay Thompson shouldn't be getting more than 15 minutes a night, and I'm pretty sure they do have him on minutes restriction, which is another reason why his numbers probably look the way they do. Now, again, I haven't been paying attention. I ain't look at nothing. I don't know nothing, but I'm just assuming how things usually go. It makes sense for him to be coming off of some type of minutes restriction and given a limited role. Now, how Steve Kerr is going about that, that's that I don't know. But the point is, I wanted to come here for everybody who watches me and just kind of settle everyone down and say, listen, it's going to take time for him to get back in shape. And he's not the type of player who's going to make others better. Not naturally. That's not his game, He's not going to come in and be the ball movement guy necessarily. He's not going to come in and be the guy that's going to pull down 100 boards or whatever. That's not his game. So if the shot ain't falling and he ain't defending yet, he ain't gotten in that kind of shape yet, then he's going to have bad numbers. He's not going to be that helpful for his team. One of the reasons why you never noticed those things is because he's so dang elite at what he does. And it happens to be on both sides of the floor. But his functionality is very simple. Shoot, shoot, shoot. He don't even have to dribble. He shoots. Shoot, shoot, shoot. So his legs have to be there. His rhythm has to be there. And if anybody's worried about whether or not he's going to recapture that, that's cool. Just waive him and send him to the Lakers. We will pick up where you left off. We will put up with his 9 points and all of that. Send him here. If you're in Golden State, you don't want Klay no more, bring him to us. That's what I have to say to anybody who's tripping off his numbers. I don't care, bro. That's one of the greatest shooters to ever play the game. That's proven. He got a bunch of rings because of it. And quite frankly, even if he doesn't come back but 40% of what he used to be, he's still the best shooter, not named Steph Curry. Even then, his shot is going to fall because he was born to shoot. He's born to shoot. So whatever numbers issues you're seeing right now, if he doesn't fit on the team, look, I personally, as I said already, don't think he should be out there starting. I wouldn't ask him to be Klay Thompson this season. No, he's going to be in the role that Jordan Poole was in or in the role that another role player was in until he gets in the type of shape he needs to get into and until pretty much the end of the season, to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I wouldn't disrupt the chemistry. He would have to work his way back in. And I wouldn't have intentions of him starting until he's absolutely 100%. And I don't expect that to be until the playoffs. Or maybe even after that in some cases, depending on how well Jordan Poole and other players are playing. You don't want to take steps back. And that's the thing about the Golden State Warriors. When you're really, really rolling, like they were to start the season, you really don't want to incorporate such a massive piece back into your team that hasn't been there in 2 years. He wasn't with the last roster. He certainly wasn't with this roster. And now you want to incorporate him as your starting small forward or shooting guard and ask him to be the person he was while you have players on this team who've proven themselves for the last year, 2 years, that that's their spot. So it's a tricky situation. These aren't regular players necessarily that are playing, that are being stepped aside. You got guys who are sending in to start them. I think Jordan Poole, if you say played for the Clippers or the Nuggets or something like that, he'd be way up. Like he's in the middle of a full-fledged breakout, and it's kind of hampered, in my opinion, by the roster that he's on. It's sort of like Anthony Simons while Dame and CJ out there. Like, how the hell can he show you that he's a 30-point, 10-assist guy? You'll never see that. And that's how I look at Jordan Poole. His breakout is real. And I know Golden State has no interest in parting ways from him, but I think, he's the type of guy who needs an opportunity to not have to worry about somebody coming back. You know, um, this ain't the time for that. I look at a guy like Andrew Wiggins is rightly in his prime, probably at peak Andrew Wiggins right now, playing the best basketball, possible right now. He shouldn't be coming off the bench for somebody who's not in shape. He shouldn't be. He should not be asked to move aside and none of that. So the Golden State Warriors have natural problems that were foreseeable, just based on the fact that they were incorporating a Hall of Famer back in their situation when they got breakout players and real starters who've worked their way into it. So I just think that, learning from what Boston went through with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, when they were doing that with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, that taught me a real basketball lesson. That is, you got this big time superstar coming back. You better put him in a playing role and let those guys who've already established themselves stay in that role, because each roster each year is different. And the roster that the Golden State Warriors have this year has those players established as their starters. It should stay that way. It really should. And it's probably best for Klay because he isn't in shape. So, that's a coaching philosophy. Again, I don't know that they are or are not doing that because I literally am not paying attention to them. But that's how I think it should go in Golden State. Now, you got to also understand, Draymond Green just got hurt. Some would argue he's the best defender in the league right now. And also one of the best facilitators in basketball. And, of course, somebody who solidifies their ball movement and has the entire time. So when he's out, other guys are tasked with getting other guys the ball. Other guys are tasked with making up that defense. And you look at Klay Thompson, you would probably, if he were 100% healthy and never had any issues, would be looking at him to kind of make up for some of that, being that he's such an elite defensive player. So I don't know if they're asking him to do that or try to step into that. If maybe that's kind of making it so that his fatigue is a little more so than what it should be. I don't know. But these type of things are possible when you have this type of dynamic. So Klay's obviously going to need some time, but they're also going to have to respect the fact that he may not be that guy again. He may not be the lockdown defender that he was before these injuries. That's, it's reasonable to say that he's going to be a step or two slow. It's reasonable, especially with his injuries. He's going to have to get in tremendous shape. And in some cases, you never get a chance to because you end up picking up another injury. So I just think that also lends itself to the idea that they should be bringing him along very slowly and off the bench. I respect who he is. It's not like I'm saying, Klay's going to come off the bench for the rest of his career. It's over. He's on Isaiah Thomas time. No, he's not. He's still Klay Thompson to proven otherwise. I just think that when he's not in shape and he's fresh off this injury, asking him to come back and be a big piece, you're asking yourself to lose. You're begging for losses. You are. You're essentially saying, Klay, come back in here, be half of yourself, and then let's see if the rest of the team can hold up your end of the bargain. When it hasn't been necessary they do that. They haven't been practicing with that in mind. It's impossible. And you're going up against teams that are scheming against you, exploiting the various weaknesses. And then you take into account, the fact that he is struggling, but he's still taking a significant amount of shots. Those are possessions that are not necessarily being quality for their team. Trying to get him back in rhythm, stuff like that. That's not really going to help you in terms of possession to possession in these games. So go up against the Indiana team. They had players coming back. They're coming off a fresh win against the Lakers. They just got caught off guard. I don't know how the hell they lost that game with half of the Pacers out. But, these are the type of things where it's like if they had all those possessions back that Klay Thompson was shooting the ball, chances are they get more quality possessions and they probably have a closer game. So, or a better game for themselves. I just look at it and say, look, anytime. And you guys heard me say this a million times. Anytime a guy is coming back into a lineup after being injured, you can just pencil your team in for some struggles. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily lose, but the chances are you are going to lose them first 5-6 games or be struggling those 5-6 games, rather. So that's just how it works. Guys couldn't work back then, not in shape. Plays break down because of the presence of a hobbled player. It just is what it is. Everything has to be on a string, and unfortunately, when guys haven't practiced, guys haven't been there, guys been out of lineup, guys being adjusted, rotations are moved around, all this stuff, it just doesn't make for good continuity when you're going up against quality, well-oiled machines that are coming into your building or what have you. So, yeah, man, Golden State struggling is foreseeable. Any player that has a player coming back like that would struggle, especially if you choose not to bring him along slowly. So I don't know. Not a Golden State guy, but I do want people to just kind of understand how this works as it pertains to injuries and how guys are coming back from those injuries. I think if we still see him struggling like this in March, then we're panicking. Then we're wondering if Klay Thompson has a future in Golden State. Then we're wondering if, if it makes sense to just bench him. But it's a Hall of Famer and a guy who specializes shooting the ball. I just don't foresee him having too many problems. I really don't. Defensively, that's a whole nother story. But he's gifted on the defensive end. So even if he loses some regression, he's still going to be a fantastic thinking defensive player who's going to talk and help and do all those different things. May not be as fast, but he's still Klay. So I just want people to let him get in shape, bring him along slowly. Steve Kerr, don't try to force it. And you have the deepest team in the Western Conference. It's not even close. I don't think there's a team in the West that has a better bench, and probably not most in the East either. I can only think of maybe 2 teams that I would consider as deep as Golden State Warriors. So that is even more so a reason to bring Klay along slowly and not start him. And Klay ain't got that type of ego, man. He's been waiting to play basketball for 2 years. He ain't going to ask to get his starting spot back and just jump in front of guys. He wants to win. You know what I mean? And if that doesn't give you the best opportunity to win, I guarantee you Klay Thompson ain't with it. So, hey, Klay's a winner, man. If Golden State don't want him no more, he's always got a home here. His pops is one of our very own up in the rafters. You know what it is. My name is BDF44. Welcome back, Klay. BDF44 once again. Peace.